By the time you turn 70, you may have lost up to 40% of your muscle mass without even realizing it. No dramatic signs, no big warning, just a slow, silent decline that chips away at your strength, your balance, and eventually your independence. This condition is known as sarcopenia, and it's far more common than most people think. It's not just a natural part of aging, it's a medical issue that affects millions of seniors worldwide. And the worst part? Most people only recognize it when they've already lost so much strength that daily tasks become difficult. Things like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, standing up from a chair without help. But here's what no one is telling you. The real reason so many seniors are losing muscle so quickly may not just be age, it could be a simple vitamin deficiency that's quietly robbing you of your strength. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that seniors who experience significant muscle loss have a 320% higher risk of developing mobility-related disabilities. That means a much greater chance of falling, needing a walker, or ending up in assisted care. But what if that could be prevented, or even reversed? We're going to talk about 6 specific nutrients that your muscles absolutely depend on to stay strong, responsive, and healthy. And the surprising truth is that most seniors are deficient in at least one, if not all, of these nutrients. One of them has the power to improve muscle recovery in just 2 weeks. Another plays a direct role in how your nerves communicate with your muscles. And another helps prevent those frustrating nighttime cramps that so many older adults experience. We'll explain what each nutrient does, how it supports your strength and stability, and what kind of foods and supplements you can use to get enough without spending a fortune or overcomplicating your routine. Before we start, hit the subscribe button for more senior health tips daily. Let's start with a lesser known but absolutely vital compound, coenzyme Q10, also known as CoQ10. Now, this one might not show up on your typical vitamin list, but it plays a massive role in your energy, your muscle recovery, and your overall ability to stay active as you age. CoQ10 lives in your mitochondria, the little engines inside every one of your cells. These engines are responsible for producing more than 95% of the energy your body uses, and muscles in particular require a lot of energy to function. As you age, your CoQ10 levels drop. By 65 or 70, you may have only a third of the CoQ10 you had in your 30s. That drop means your cells can't make energy as efficiently. And when muscles don't get enough energy, they weaken, they fatigue faster, they recover more slowly after activity. And that creates a vicious cycle. Less activity, more loss. To make matters worse, many common medications, especially statins for cholesterol, actually lower CoQ10 levels even more. So while you might be taking something to protect your heart, you could unintentionally be making it harder for your muscles to function. That's why so many seniors on statins report muscle soreness, fatigue, and even weakness. It's not just the medication, it's the nutrient depletion that comes with it. So what can you do? Food sources like organ meats, fatty fish, and whole grains offer small amounts of CoQ10, but not nearly enough to make a therapeutic difference for most people. That's where supplementation comes in. If you're over 60, experts typically recommend 100 to 200 milligrams per day of CoQ10. If you're on statins, the recommendation can go as high as 300 milligrams. But here's the key. It has to be in the right form. Look for supplements that use ubiquinol, the active form of CoQ10 that's easier for your body to absorb. And if you can, choose a formula that includes black pepper extract or bioprine, which can boost absorption even more. Restoring CoQ10 levels won't make you feel like a teenager overnight, but over time it can make a noticeable difference in how much energy you have, how fast you recover, and how long you can stay active without getting tired or sore. Now let's move on to something you've definitely heard of, but probably don't realize how important it is for your muscles. Vitamin D. Most people think of vitamin D as the bone vitamin. And it's true, it's crucial for calcium absorption and bone strength. But what most people don't realize is that vitamin D also plays a major role in muscle strength, balance, and coordination. Inside your muscles are tiny receptors that need vitamin D in order to activate. Without it, your muscles become less responsive. You feel slower, weaker, more unsteady on your feet. And here's the scary part. Over 40% of seniors are deficient in vitamin D. That number jumps even higher for people who live in northern climates or spend most of their time indoors. Research shows that seniors with healthy vitamin D levels have better balance, fewer falls, and stronger lower body muscles. In one study, older adults who started supplementing with vitamin D reduced their risk of falling by 20%, just by improving the way their muscles worked. Vitamin D also helps regulate how your muscles contract. And without enough, you may struggle with things like leg cramps, muscle twitches, or even unsteadiness when walking. So, how much do you need? The recommended daily intake is 800 to 1000 IU for adults over 65, but many doctors suggest going up to 2000 IU, especially if you're not getting much sunlight. Vitamin D3, also called cholecalciferol, is the most effective form. It raises your blood levels more efficiently than D2, and it's what most experts recommend for supplementation. You can find D3 in soft gels, drops, and even gummies. And for the best absorption, take it with a meal that includes some fat, like eggs, avocado, or olive oil, since vitamin D is fat soluble and needs dietary fat to be absorbed properly. We're just getting started. In the next section, we'll cover a critical vitamin that powers your nervous system and helps your muscles receive clear instructions from the brain. Without it, even the strongest muscles won't work the way they should. Let's talk about vitamin B12. You might have seen it mentioned on multivitamin labels, or maybe you've heard it talked about in connection with energy levels or brain fog. But what most people don't realize is that B12 is also one of the most essential nutrients for muscle strength and control. Here's why. Your muscles don't act on their own. They respond to signals from your brain, carried through your nervous system. Vitamin B12 helps build and maintain the protective coating called the myelin sheath that surrounds your nerves and keeps those signals sharp and fast. When B12 levels drop, nerve signals slow down. That means even if your muscles are strong, they may not be getting the message. The result? You feel slower, uncoordinated. Maybe your feet feel heavy when you walk. Maybe your hands don't respond as quickly as they used to. Or you feel an odd tingling, numbness, or weakness in your limbs. And here's where it gets really important for older adults. B12 absorption gets significantly worse with age. As you get older, your stomach produces less acid, and that acid is required to release B12 from the food you eat. So even if your diet is good, even if you eat meat, eggs, and dairy, you could still be B12 deficient without knowing it. In fact, estimates suggest that nearly 1 in 5 seniors over 65 are B12 deficient, and many more are borderline low. The symptoms are often mistaken for signs of aging, fatigue, clumsiness, forgetfulness, but they may actually be early warnings of nerve damage caused by a lack of this vitamin. So, how do you get your levels back up? B12 is found naturally in animal products like beef, liver, chicken, fish, and eggs. But again, if absorption is impaired, even a great diet may not be enough. That's why sublingual B12 supplements, the kind that dissolve under your tongue, are often the best option for seniors. These bypass the digestive system and go straight into your bloodstream through the tiny vessels in your mouth. B12 shots are another option for those who are severely deficient, but for most people, daily or weekly oral supplements do the trick. Look for methylcobalamin, the active form of B12, which is more easily absorbed and better utilized by your body than the synthetic form, cyanocobalamin. A typical dose for mild deficiency might be 1,000 micrograms per day, though some people need more depending on their levels and how well they absorb it. It's a water-soluble vitamin, so excess amounts are usually excreted, though it's still best to work with a doctor or nutritionist to get your levels checked. The results can be life-changing. Restoring B12 can improve coordination, stop nerve tingling, boost energy, and sharpen mental clarity. And when your brain and muscles start communicating properly again, things like walking, balancing, and carrying weight become safer and more natural. Now let's move on to a mineral that works hand in hand with B12, yet is often overlooked. One that plays a direct role in how your muscles contract and relax, and without it you may feel weak, sore, or crampy for no clear reason. That mineral is magnesium. Magnesium is responsible for over 300 reactions in your body. But when it comes to muscles, its job is specific and powerful. It helps your muscle fibers relax after contracting. Without it, your muscles can become stiff, overworked, or locked into tension, which can lead to cramps, spasms, and fatigue. Think about those nights where your calf suddenly locks up, or those days when your neck or shoulders feel tight for no reason, or the strange fluttering feeling in your eyelid. Those could all be signs your body is craving magnesium. And like vitamin D and B12, magnesium deficiency becomes more common with age. Older adults are more likely to take medications, like diuretics or acid reducers, that deplete magnesium, and they're also more likely to absorb less of it through their intestines. Low magnesium has also been linked to poor sleep, restless leg syndrome, and increased inflammation, all of which further impact your muscles' ability to rest and recover. So, how do you get enough? Dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard are rich in magnesium. So are pumpkin seeds, almonds, black beans, and whole grains. But again, getting enough from diet alone can be difficult, especially if your digestion isn't what it used to be. That's where magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate supplements come in. These forms are easier on the stomach and more bioavailable than the cheaper forms like magnesium oxide. A standard dose is usually between 200 to 400 milligrams per day, depending on your needs. It's best taken in the evening, since it may also promote better sleep and muscle relaxation. One thing to note, if you start taking magnesium and notice loose stools, that's your body's way of saying too much. Dial it back until things feel balanced again. Together, B12 and magnesium help create a strong connection between your nervous system and your muscles. They support quick reactions, smooth movements, and restful recovery at night. And they're both easy to restore when you know what to look for. We're now halfway through and still have two more powerhouse nutrients that seniors often overlook. One controls hydration inside your muscle cells, and the other affects the very rate at which your muscles age. Now that we've talked about communication between your brain and muscles, let's get into something more physical, literally inside the muscle fibers themselves. This next nutrient isn't a vitamin or a mineral, but a compound that naturally exists in your body. It stores energy, it supports hydration, and when levels drop with age, your muscles shrink. Not because they're weak, but because they're dehydrated at the cellular level. That nutrient is creatine. You've probably heard of creatine in the context of bodybuilders or athletes. But here's the truth. Creatine is not just for young people or muscle heads. It's one of the most well-researched, safest, and effective supplements for adults over 60, especially those looking to regain strength, energy, and muscle function. So what is it exactly? Creatine is a compound your body produces from amino acids. It's stored in your muscles and used to create quick bursts of energy. Every time you stand up, climb stairs, carry a bag of groceries, or catch yourself from falling, you're using creatine phosphate energy? The problem is, after age 50, your body makes less and less of it. And as your creatine stores drop, so does your muscle performance. You feel more fatigued after small tasks. You can't lift as much as you used to. And your muscles start to lose their hydrated fullness, making them appear smaller and feel less responsive. But here's the good news. Creatine can be replenished. Clinical studies have shown that seniors who take just 3 to 5 grams of creatine per day gain more lean muscle, recover faster after activity, and perform better on strength and balance tests, even if they don't exercise. Of course, pairing creatine with simple resistance movements like chair stands, wall pushes, or leg lifts amplifies the effect. But even without structured exercise, your body uses it to restore cellular energy, protect muscle tissue, and support brain function. Yes, creatine helps the brain too. In fact, one of the reasons creatine is gaining popularity among aging adults is because it may help preserve mental clarity and reduce fatigue, especially in people with mild cognitive decline. Your brain, like your muscles, also uses creatine to function. As for safety, creatine is one of the most thoroughly studied supplements in the world. Dozens of long-term trials have confirmed it's safe, non-toxic, and effective, even for seniors. The only caution is to stay well hydrated, as creatine pulls water into your muscle cells, which is a good thing, but it means you'll need to drink enough fluids. If you've been feeling weak, slow to recover, or just not as sharp and energetic as you used to be, creatine could be the missing piece. It's affordable, tasteless, easy to add to water or a smoothie, and within a few weeks you may feel the difference. Now let's move on to the final and arguably most underrated muscle-protecting nutrient. It's something you've probably never heard your doctor talk about: but it may directly influence how quickly your muscles age, how they respond to activity, and whether they shrink or stay strong as the years go by. We're talking about omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, the ones found in fish oil. Omega-3s aren't just for heart health. They're essential for muscle health too, especially as you age. These fatty acids help reduce inflammation, protect against muscle breakdown, and even enhance muscle protein synthesis, which is how your body builds and repairs muscle. The two most important types of omega-3s are EPA and DHA. These are found primarily in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies. And here's where it gets interesting. In one study, older adults who supplemented with EPA and DHA gained more muscle and strength during exercise than those who didn't, even though both groups followed the exact same program. Omega-3s actually made their workouts more effective. Why? Because they helped lower the inflammation that normally follows activity, improved blood flow to the muscles, and made the body more responsive to protein. In another study, seniors who weren't exercising still gained strength simply from taking a daily fish oil supplement. It worked by reducing the rate of muscle degradation that happens naturally with aging. Now, here's where it gets especially important for older adults. Most people do not get enough omega-3s from food alone. Unless you're eating fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week, you're probably deficient. And the effects show up slowly. More stiffness, more soreness, more fatigue. That's why supplementing with a high-quality fish oil or algae-based omega-3 is one of the simplest ways to protect your muscles. When choosing a supplement, look for one that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day. And choose a reputable brand that's been tested for purity and free of heavy metals or contaminants. If you prefer food-based sources, go for wild-caught salmon, sardines, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. These offer different types of omega-3s, ALA from plants, EPA and DHA from marine sources, but all contribute to reducing muscle-related inflammation. Adding omega-3s to your daily routine doesn't just help your muscles. It helps your joints, your memory, your vision, and even your mood. That's why so many seniors feel better overall when they begin supplementing. With these 6 nutrients, CoQ10, vitamin D, B12, magnesium, creatine, and omega-3s, you now have a clear, evidence-backed plan to protect your muscles from age-related decline. Now that we've gone through the 6 most important nutrients for muscle health after 60, let's talk about something just as important: how to build them into your life in a way that's simple, sustainable, and actually works. You don't need a dozen pills. You don't need a complicated routine. You don't even need to change your entire diet. All you need is a few smart habits you can do daily, consistently. Here's how you could structure it. Start your morning with a protein-rich breakfast. This not only supports muscle repair, but also helps balance your blood sugar for the day ahead. If you're taking vitamin D or CoQ10, this is the perfect time to take them. With food that contains healthy fat, like eggs, avocado, or nut butter, that fat helps absorb both nutrients better. Mid-morning, or whenever you normally take your supplements, dissolve your B12 tablet under your tongue. This helps bypass digestion, going straight into your bloodstream where your body can use it. If you take a magnesium supplement, consider doing that in the evening. Magnesium helps your muscles relax, and taking it before bed may even improve sleep quality. Just make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day, especially if you're adding creatine to your routine. Creatine can be taken at any time, though many people find it easiest to mix into a smoothie or glass of water after breakfast. It has no flavor, so it blends in easily. Just aim for 3 to 5 grams a day and give it a few weeks to notice the effects. Your omega-3s, whether in the form of fish oil or algae oil, can be taken with any meal. It's best to take them with food to minimize any fishy aftertaste or burping. And as with everything, quality matters, so choose a trusted brand that's been tested for purity. When you combine these 6 nutrients with even a small amount of daily movement, like walking, chair squats, or gentle resistance training, you create the ideal conditions for your body to build strength again, even after years of muscle loss. It doesn't matter if you haven't exercised in months or if you've never taken supplements before. Your body still knows how to rebuild. You just have to give it the right ingredients and a little bit of your attention. And that's what makes this so powerful. You're not just treating symptoms, you're getting to the root of what makes aging harder, and you're choosing to do something about it. Because aging is inevitable, but weakness, frailty, and decline, that part is negotiable. And you can be 70, 80, or even 90 and still feel strong. Still feel capable. Still feel like yourself. The key is taking small, intentional steps, starting today. If this video helped you understand your body a little better, or if it gave you ideas you're excited to try, then please hit the subscribe button right now. This channel is all about giving you clear, trustworthy health advice made for real people, not textbook models. And if you've used any of these nutrients and noticed a difference in your strength, your balance, or your energy, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Your story might help someone else take that first step. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, your muscles haven't disappeared. They've just been waiting for the right moment to wake up. You've still got more strength in you than you think, and we're here to help you bring it back.